around this room. There are approximately 100 people here. If this debate were to happen in Pakistan today, 80 of the people here would be afraid by coming to this debate for their lives. In fact, according to a Gallup poll, 4 out of 5 Pakistanis feel unsafe in public because of the number of Al-Qaeda and Taliban terrorist attacks. The Pakistanis should feel safe in their country, and the USA is needed to help them to feel safe by conducting drone attacks and by sending in small amounts of military special forces who are acting quickly and decisively on quickly gathered intelligence. The reasons that the United States should, when necessary, conduct drone attacks and small military operations in Pakistan are that the Taliban and Al-Qaeda are murdering innocent people, that if the United States leaves Pakistan, it will create a power vacuum, that what the USA is doing in Pakistan is working, and that the USA is not invading Pakistan because the Pakistanis are asking for help. According to the Pakistan Institute for Peace, in 2009, there were 12,632 violent deaths in all of Pakistan. Of those violent deaths, 3,021 people were killed by terrorists. Those people killed were killed in 87 suicide bombings and 2,586 other terrorist attacks. The number of people killed by terrorists is a 48% increase from 2008. Abdul Basit, a researcher at the Pakistan Institute for Peace, commented on these statistics by saying, quote, "The most important trend to emerge was attacks on soft targets. Soft targets are non-military targets, in other words, civilian. Several civilian targets that were hit by the Taliban and Al-Qaeda in the following year was Islamabad's International Islamic University and markets in the cities of Lahore and Peshawar. But not only are the terrorists attacking soft targets, they are also using civilians as human shields. Pakistan's Army Chief of Staff, Ashfaq Kayani, commented that fanatics have, I quote, torched schools, flogging, beheading, and sometimes even skinning resistors. Afghanistan's General Mahuddin Ghori also commented that the enemy is fighting from compounds where soldiers can very clearly see women or children on the roof or in a second floor or third floor window. They are trying to get us to fire on them and kill civilians. Ironically, however, many of the civilian casualties are actually the wives and children of the Al-Qaeda and Taliban. To gain empathy for their side, the Taliban and Al-Qaeda are putting their wives and children on the roof and in the second floor and third floor windows. They're doing this in order to gain empathy by saying that their terrorists were killed trying to defend their families from the corrupt militia. In addition to murdering innocent people, the Taliban and Al-Qaeda are brainwashing children as young as 15 years old to become suicide bombers. They are doing this in a 40-day intensive program in which by the end, these children are stripped of their humanity and are shells of their former selves. A 16-year-old boy said that they were taught that, I quote, "there is a great reward in heaven for anyone slaughtering a soldier, and the same reward if you slaughter anyone telling you that it is wrong." My second point is that if the United States leaves Pakistan, it will create a power vacuum. A power vacuum is a political term used to describe a vacancy or weakness in the power structure of a nation or region. If the United States leaves, it might make way for an individual coming to power who does not have the country's best interest at heart. This would be similar to that which happened in Afghanistan in the early 1990s, in which after the Soviet Union and the United States left, it created a power vacuum that was soon filled by the Taliban. My next point is that what the USA is doing in Pakistan is working. According to the Pakistan Institute for Peace, in 2009, 12,866 Taliban and Al-Qaeda members were captured, and 667 were killed and 310 injured in United States drone attacks. Several key terrorists that were killed in these drone attacks were Mohammed Kari Zafar, who was a senior member of an Al-Qaeda-linked militant group and also one of Pakistan's most wanted men at the time. Another terrorist that was killed by these drone attacks was Batullah Masood, who was Pakistan's top Taliban leader at the time and mastermind of the murder of Benazir Bhutto. Benazir Bhutto was the former Prime Minister of Pakistan and wife of the current President, Asif Ali Zardari. Another key terrorist that was killed by these drone attacks was Hussein al-Yemeni, who was a top al-Qaeda planner and also was responsible for a planned suicide attack in Khost, in which 8 people were killed. My final point is that the USA is not invading Pakistan. This is shown in that the al-Qaeda and Taliban are not respecting the borders. What the al-Qaeda and Taliban are doing is they're going into Afghanistan from Pakistan and doing terrorist acts there and then going back into Pakistan to hide. The USA is obligated to do something about this, and the way that they need to do this is through drone attacks and small military operations. The other reason that shows that the United States is not invading Pakistan is that the USA is working with the Pakistan government. On March 22nd, just several weeks ago, Pakistan Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi met with the United States Senator Hillary Clinton and asked for $2 billion in economic aid and also military equipment. In conclusion, the reasons that the United States should, when necessary, conduct drone attacks and small military operations in Pakistan are that the Taliban and al-Qaeda are murdering innocent people, that if the United States leaves Pakistan, it will create a power vacuum, that what the USA is doing in Pakistan is really working, and that the USA is not invading Pakistan. However, don't just take it from me, don't just listen to what I have to say. Listen to the Pakistanis themselves. Tariq Hyde Khan, a senior government official from Swat Valley, which is in the northern part of Pakistan, said that the people hate them. And if you see letters to the editors of all the major newspapers, the people of Swat are writing, and they are thanking the army for intervening in a decisive manner. They say, eliminate them. Clear up our area, for God's sake.
Mr. Hessler, military intelligence reports have shown that since the drone campaign in Pakistan has begun, U.S. popularity there has decreased drastically. At the same time, the number of civilian casualties in each of these strikes has steadily increased, to the point where some strikes have caused 30 innocent deaths. So I ask you, how can you support a plan where our strikes, our so-called precision strikes, kill more civilians than the average suicide bomber?
I believe that that was originally sourced in 2002, which is kind of a long ways away if you don't agree. Second of all, what we are really pushing here is that we are pushing the ground forces, which are much more precise, and they will act on quickly gathered intelligence from our military. And also, these terrorists are using civilians, as I said, as human shields. They're using their own family members to gain empathy for their terrorist acts.